Assalamu alaikum, my dear student. This is Miss Aisha Anwar from Biotic Academy. Hope you are enjoying the lectures which we are discussing in our academy. Today, my topic is balanced diet. What is balanced diet? Balanced diet is a diet which is composed of all these 7 nutrients which helps to provide us energy and keep our body in a healthy state. Carbohydrate, protein, fats, water, dietary fibers, minerals, and vitamins. These are the all components of balanced diet which we require according to our sex, age, and nature of job. How we get these nutrients and why they are important to our body, we will discuss it here. These nutrients are basically needed by the body in order to perform some specific function. For suppose we will begin with carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is basically the instant source of energy, and there are the different types of carbohydrate in our diet. What is mean by instant source of energy? Instant source of energy means the food which we eat basically broken down to glucose level, and glucose is basically the simpler form of carbohydrate. So glucose is the instant source of energy to our body. When we eat anything, when we eat carbohydrate, it breaks down to the level of glucose, and in the cell it is being broken down by the mitochondria, and the mitochondria release energy in the form of ATP for the functioning of the cell. So carbohydrate is instant source of energy, immediately provide energy to the body. So the form of carbohydrate which we have in our diet, first of all we will discuss about starch. Starch is to provide energy. We get starch through fruits and jams. Sugars basically also provide energy, and we get sugars from potato, bread, rice, and pasta. These are all different forms of vegetables and fruits basically based on these plants. Now the third one is fiber. Fiber doesn't provide us energy. Fiber is basically cellulose. And what is cellulose? Cellulose is basically the plant cell wall. And this plant cell wall is basically in the form of fiber. We take it in our diet in order to prevent constipation. Constipation is considered as the mother of all diseases, because if a person is suffering from constipation, the person will be having many other diseases associated with this problem. And we can avoid constipation by taking cereals and green vegetables in our diet so that we can avoid constipation. So fiber is not a source of energy for the body, but it is important to prevent constipation. Now the second one is protein. Why we need to have protein? Usually we used to say that young girls and boys should take more and more protein in their diet. Why they should take? Because they are in the phase of growth. They are enlarging in their height, and they need to make new cells in the body, and for the formation of new cells they need protein. So protein is basically the function of protein in our body is growth and repair of the cell. Repair of the cell means if any cell get damaged, it get repaired if the body is self-sufficient in protein. Now what are the sources of protein? We get protein by fish, milk, nuts, and meats. These are the sources of protein, and many other food items which are rich in protein. Third one is fats. Fats basically a source of energy after carbohydrate. Fat is also a source of energy after carbohydrate, but the primary function of fat is to insulate the body against the heat loss, to maintain the temperature of the body inside. So fat, there is a layer of fat under the skin which helps to maintain the temperature, and throughout the year the human temperature, the body temperature is 37 degrees, and that is being maintained by the layer of fat which is helping to insulate the body against the heat loss. We get fats from milk, butter, and oil, and many other food items which are rich in fats. Now fourth one is vitamins. Vitamins are basically two types of vitamins which we are going to discuss here, is vitamin C and vitamin D. Vitamin C helps to prevent scurvy. What is scurvy? Scurvy is a condition where the person who is lacking in vitamin C suffer with the bleeding gums. Gums start bleeding. That shows that the person is suffering from scurvy, a disorder which can be overcome by taking sufficient amount of vitamin C in the diet. From where we can take vitamin C? We can take vitamin C through juicy fruits and vegetables like oranges and lemon. Vitamin D, why it is needed? It is needed to avoid rickets. Rickets is a condition or disorder of the bones where bones become weak and brittle. And because of the lack of vitamin D, skin and bones both are affecting. And we can get vitamin D through dairy products. Now minerals. Minerals are basically, here we will discuss two minerals, iron and calcium. Iron is needed to prevent anemia. Anemia is a condition where the body is suffering with the lack of blood in the body. As a result of which the person becomes weak and tired because of the lack of hemoglobin in their body. So iron is needed to make hemoglobin, and hemoglobin are basically making the blood. How we can overcome this condition? By taking liver, meat and vegetables. Calcium again needed to make the bones and teeth strong, and we can get calcium by milk and cheese. Water, it's an important solvent, and that solvent is needed in the body in order to keep the body hydrated. So it's better to have water directly, and basically we can take water in different forms of food, like in the form of milk, juices, fruits, but directly taking water is also very important. And the function of water is transportation of substances around the body. We can take water in the form of tea as well. Now these are the all different types of food components which we are taking in order to get a balanced diet in our life. What if this type of food are not digested? If we are taking the food and they are not going through any chemical reaction, can we get energy out of them? Can they perform function in the body very well? No. Every food which we eat is needed to pass through a process which is called digestion. The food we eat is needed to pass through a chemical process in order to convert the food into simpler molecule, that is basically monomers, so that the food can reach to the cells, to the tissues in their appropriate requirement. The cells needed food in their appropriate style, in their appropriate amount, and these can only be done by the process of digestion. Now, why do we need to digest our food? Because we need to convert the food into simpler molecules to make the absorption of nutrients easier. Absorption of nutrients, what does it mean? Absorption of nutrient means that first the food we are taking in the body, it has to pass through the process of chemical reaction, that is digestion, and then digestion. After digestion, cell needs food from the stomach to the cell. That process, that journey can be done by the absorption. Absorption of nutrients is done in the small intestine, where the simpler form of food after the process of digestion is available for the villi to absorb from there and take it to each and every cell of the body. Now the second one is make it easier for our cells to use the nutrients. The nutrients which we are taking is basically, they are in a very complex form. They are not ready to be utilized by the cell. Cell need these nutrients in a very simpler form so that they can make their protoplasm out of them. They can make their enzymes, their cell membrane, their all other organelles. They can get energy out of them. They can make their all other important material inside the cell. For that, cell needs the food to be digested and to come into the level of very simpler form so that they can use them accordingly. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson and you have understood the concept which we have discussed today. This is Miss Aisha Anwar from Biotic Academy. Take care.